Hello, everybody. Good afternoon. This is Dr. Anu Mehta, and today we will be talking about senses. Uh, Not just the six senses that we normally look at in NLP, which is what you see, what you hear, what you smell, what you taste, what you feel when you touch something, and your thoughts. Let's go just beyond that and have a look as to are there any other senses which are equally important in your illness, equally important in your programming and in your growth. So let's just share this right now. So the latest that I have read, actually this is not the latest, there is a lot that's, as you can call it, there is a lot that's already present, but this material came into my hand very recently, and I was looking at it and saying, oh my God, this is something that should be, would be so interesting to share with you guys. So I'm talking now about 12 senses and meta health. So what is meta health? Meta health is all about the health from above or beyond the aspect of what we already know. What we know is that if somebody eats well, uh, that is, they have balanced diet, they exercise well, they sleep well, they would have good health. This is a general understanding. So right now we are looking at senses beyond what we see, what we hear, what we smell, taste, touch, and thoughts. We will be including those senses too. But let's look at what are the other things that could impact our health. So Rudolf Steiner uh, was an amazing individual who said, we have more than six senses. We have about 12 senses in our body, and they are all interconnected with one another. And the 12 senses are, first sense to begin with, number one is the touch. Now, when I'm touching someone or something, this gives me an idea of many, many things. The touch, in fact, when a child is to be born, the first sense that the parents execute is the touch. It's when two people touch each other and are moved and touched with each other, do they create a life which is called the little conception that happens there, which further inside the body creates the movement, and there is balance. Now, balance is directly connected with hearing, that's with our ears, because the areas of balance in our body are actually present inside the innermost ear, which is called the cochlear fluid, and this fluid helps us to keep the balance of our body. Now, isn't that amazing? It's actually our ears which are helping us keep the balance of our body. Then we have the movement, which is if I allow myself to move, and the movement by itself can be any movement, the language perception becomes different. And the language is all about my speech, what I'm talking, and then we're looking at life. And life, we are looking at our concepts in our life are directly connected with the sense of life. If I feel unwell, then my concepts of life also alter. The last one, which is talking about the touch is directly connected with the ego. Like there is good touch, there is bad touch, and this touch part or the feeling part of the touch is directly connected with the ego. Now, if we look at the touch, life, movement, and balance, these, when you look at the words lower physical, inner senses, it doesn't mean it's graded as something below or above. It just means that these are the four spectrums which are required for your body, and it's an internal process. And this internal process has an external process which is called the higher outer senses, which is about gaining spirituality, moving out in the world, and in meta language, it would be connected with the cortex of the brain. Basically to do with our language skills, our how we connect with people, communication skills. Now, basically, if we look at the middle zone is all those senses that help us to understand our environment well. And that's where they're in the middle of everything. They're basically the heart of everything. So when we look at that, we're looking at warmth. And when we're looking at warmth, we're actually talking about temperature, which is again picked up by the skin of our body. We're looking at the vision as to what we see. We're looking at taste. That is first thing that the child does, that he takes the food, looks at it, and then puts it in the mouth. But before putting in his mouth, his nose is acting along with the taste. So to understand what kind of environment we are in, we need to have these senses working together. That is the vision, the taste, the smell, and the warmth. So sensory perception also forms the basis of these all sensory perceptions. These all sensory perception is got from all these senses that we spoke about. And all these senses help us to create a relationship with ourselves, so with our surrounding and with people around us. It also helps us to learn to observe well, use our senses comprehensively and frequently. So basically, it makes us aware of inside and out of us. The 12 senses which are there help us to know our sensory perception of how we see the world. Our 12 senses impact our vitality. That means whether we are living, vitality means vital. It helps us to see that our vital parameters are functioning properly, and thus helps us to keep our health in a very good place or in a bad place. Basically, it makes us aware that our health, our vitality, and our sensory perception are all interconnected. Steiner said that 12 senses can be grouped into 3 different categories, like we just saw. The below category, do you remember what it was? It was touch. Let's go back to the slide. It was touch, it was life, it was movement, it was balance. These 4 that I've talked about are connected with the body, are connected with our physical body. Our external world, whether it's good, bad, ugly, we are judging it with smell, sight, taste, and temperature of anything, whether it's hot or it's cold. Even when we are putting food in our mouth, whether it's soft, whether it is cold, whether it is hot, we are going to come to know it the minute we put it in the mouth. Then we are looking at the top senses, and when we go back to the top senses, it was hearing, it was language, it was concepts, and it was ego. This which is there is impacting our spiritual world and immaterial world. The first 4 senses, that is touch, life, movement, balance, they are all red in color. They are all about doing something. They are all about creating something. And these are called the senses of will or doing senses. And all the doing senses or senses of will are connected with red color, or the orangish color that we said, orange-red color. So it's very interesting that when we look at the other 2, the middle ones which are there are connected with the yellow color, which is all the feeling colors. And the top which is there is got to do with the thinking, which is got to do with the blue color. So if I look at the spectrum, the lower physical are red, the middle ones are all yellow, and the top ones are all actually in a color which is blue in color. So thank you so much, and keep tuning into the next slide. I will be doing a few more videos on this. Thank you so much. So this is where we end the first slide. and I will be going and thoroughly talking about each and every step.
Health Talks are daily health-related talks held at Health Education Library for People, Mumbai, India. For more information visit www.healthlibrary.com. Subscribe to Health Talks channel. Be better informed about your health.